Hi everyone, welcome to another Musings on 4 album releases, and we're now into or looking at 1986 as I flip-flop back between the beginning of 1980 and the end of 1980, and then working towards the middle. So not many more episodes and we'll be in the middle. So we're now looking at 1986. 1986 was a very good year, actually. Yeah, so I'm going to have a big smile on my face talking about this year. Had lots of really cool friends. I'd 80, when was it? So 85, I'd wrapped up my fourth year of 4 years of college. So 2 years of ordinary nationals and then 2 years of higher nationals, which I was doing alongside working, because the company I worked for used to send us to college 1 day a week. And so I did, first 2 years I did chemistry, second year, 2 years I did applied biochemistry. Is that right? Sorry, applied biology, specialising in biochemical techniques. Because you could either specialise in biochemical techniques or microbiology, and I did biochemical techniques because I was doing, when I started it, I was more involved in helping make immunological kits. So yeah. So by 86, because I'd finished it in 85, the sort of, the second of 2 of the 4 years. I think 86, the only reason I went back was there was one exam I was having trouble with. It was in, I think it probably was in plant physiology, because it was just remembering lists of things, which I despise. So yeah, I think sometime in 86 I did have to go back and do one resit. But yeah, very cool year. Went to see lots of really cool bands. I just dug out my list of gigs from sort of the 80s and just rattle these off. So yeah, New Order in March 86, Ramones May, the Cramps, Ramones and the Cramps at the top rank. New Order I saw at the Brighton Centre, so this is in Brighton. That was, Cramps also in May. Cherry Bombs in May at a little club down there, that was really cool. Big Country. So the second time I saw Big Country, because I'd seen them end of 84, so I saw them again in 86, June 86. We'll be able to see actually what album they were probably supporting. Billy Bragg, September 86. House Martins, October 86. New Model Army, October 86. The Stranglers in November with Exmal Deutschland and a group of bouncing trampolinists called the Wonderful Wigglers. I think that's who it was. Stranglers always had weird support. I think one year when I went to see them, did I sing Stranglers twice? Yeah, they had a comic whose name escapes me. November of 86 I saw The Mission. And in December of 86, I saw Big Country again. Yeah, they were touring a lot. So, with that in mind, let's go through usual things. So I just go through, look at the state of the UK charts for that year. Look at some of my favourite albums from that year that still hold a place in my heart. And then talk a little bit about other albums from that year and other metal releases, what I might have been listening to on the heavy metal side of things, which I haven't already mentioned through some of my favourites that year. And then we'll finish it off with the usual look at the US films box office stats, stuff like that. See what was out that year. I think I always find that's good for getting some sort of popular culture anchor. Just if you're not too familiar with that year, there might be certain films that you're more familiar with. Okay, So best-selling albums, and again with these, remember that some of these will have folded over from the previous year. So True Blue came out. Well, that did come out in '86. Okay, I didn't buy that album. Brothers in Arms, '85. I'm pretty sure. Well, I know I saw Dire Straits in '85, and I must have seen them on the Brothers in Arms tour. I managed to get like the very last ticket. I went down to the box office. So they'd come out on the Friday, the tickets, and I went down on the Saturday, and they completely sold out. This was back in the day when you used to have to sort of, go along to the ticket office or some outlet. I think you could either go to the ticket office or some of the, I think for the smaller clubs and smaller venues, the Virgin Megastore and Our Price sold tickets. But I think for the Brighton Centre, you physically at that point had to go along to the box office at the Brighton Centre. And by the Saturday morning, they were pretty much sold out. And when I went up to the thing, they said, "Oh, we do have one return here that someone's sent back they didn't want." So I had that. It wasn't a particularly good view, but at least I got to see the band. So yeah, we got. So that's from '85. Oh, Hunting High and Low. That also came out in '85 as well. I have lots of good albums to talk about in the '85 episode. That was '86. This I didn't listen to until several years later. I think it wasn't until about 1988 when I got round to watching the Highlander film, of which this was a soundtrack, which I didn't realise until when I saw the Highlander film and thought, hang on, I recognise a few of these, and then went out and bought the album. So yeah. Invisible Touch, 86. Greatest Hits. Yes, we got a few compilation albums, not surprisingly, they're doing well. Oh, I remember this from 86. Wow. Yeah, I think I mentioned about this album. The trouble with this one is that I heard it so much, I just got sick of the sound of it, unfortunately. Yeah. No Jacket Required. That was 85, though. Yeah, as I said, I saw the Howells and Martins, so their debut came out in 86. Oh, Slippery When Wet, yeah. 86. Like a Virgin was still doing okay from 84. That's a good album. That came out in 85. Please, that came out in 86, okay. Yeah. And so on. Susan Vega was out from 85. Yeah, when I, obviously, 85 was another really, so 85, 86, I had two back-to-back really good years. 84, not so good. I've got to do an episode about that, and I think as I've mentioned as well, so 83 into 84 wasn't fun times for me, and then seem to remember, 87 was a little bit rough, but 85, 86, yeah, so Christmas of 84 into 85 and 86, yeah, awesome time period in my life. Okay, let's just look at this week by week, number one albums. Oh, there's Brothers in Arms fairly early on in the year. Kind of Magic, yeah. There's So. Okay. I thought that came out a bit later, but yeah, for some reason I thought it'd come out the following year. Silk and Steel by 5 Star. Yeah, now, I'll probably go on to it in a moment, but there was a friend of mine at the time, probably one of my best friends actually. She was going out later on, it wasn't that year, but she went out with a session guitarist who I believe played on one of the 5 Star albums. Yeah. She was a really good guitarist. I went to see him demoing Marshall stuff. I can't remember his name now. It's Graceland. Wow, that came out in 86. Huh. So let's look at some of my favourite albums from that year. Edge of Insanity by Tony McAlpine. Yeah, I'd started listening to quite a bit of suppose what you call well, instrumental rock, neoclassical metal, just shredders. So you got Malmsteen, McAlpine. Who was the other guy? Because Tony McAlpine was also a really good keyboard player, but he played keyboards on another guy's album. Yeah, I might find it as we're going along. Oh, this fella. Yeah, I think. Did he? Yeah, did he keyboards on this? Yes, this is a really good album. Mind's Eye. Yeah, so I'm definitely on a bit of a neoclassical jag at this point. Also out in 86 we had Master of Puppets. Yeah, so I'd sort of onboarded with Metallica around about the time of Ride the Lightning. So the sort of series of events was that I bought a compilation album called, I think it was called Hell Comes to Your House, which had, I'm pretty sure it had, what was the track? Creeping Death on it. And then in 86 I bought Master of Puppets. And I remember being able to track down around sometime between this, there was Creeping Death was released on a cassette single as well. So yeah, it had, oh that's it, Am I Evil and Blitzkrieg on it. Yeah, Master of Puppets. Yeah, classic battery Master of Puppets thing. This should not be. Welcome Ham Sanatorium, Disposable Heroes, Leper Messiah, Orion, and Damage Inc. This was a great album. Yeah, Pet Shop Boys. So probably, yeah, mid-ish 80s, I would say. Yeah, probably tail end of 84 into 85, and then onwards my musical tastes were getting a lot more eclectic than just sort of metal and hard rock and punk. And yeah, this is an awesome album. The disco thing that followed it up that year is really good as well. The remix album. I bought that when it came out. This now, Cities in Dust came out in 85. Yeah, this is a really weird situation. So I actually saw, let me check my book, Susan the Banshees in October of 85, because they were touring at the time Cities in Dust came out. This is this weird thing you get where sometimes a band would tour it when a major single had been released, when they hadn't had that album out for a little while. I know the Cult used to do it. So when they toured off the back of, I think it was She Sells Sanctuary, and then toured off the back of whatever album it was on, which also had Rain on it, Love. And I remember hearing this and buying the 12-inch single, and then I had to wait until, so that was 85 when I saw them live. I had to wait until 86 for the album to come out, for Tinderbox to come out. So yeah. And this is interesting as well because prior to that, as I said, there was quite a big gap. So we had Hyena, which featured Robert Smith on it, which is the only studio album. Now, he had played previously on this live album at the Royal Albert Hall in '83, and so prior to that, Kiss in the Dream House was John McGeoch. Yeah, so they go through John McGeoch, Robert Smith, who had been in the band for a short period of time on a tour when the two original members of Susan the Banshees, the guitarist and the drummer, had left. His name escapes me. And then Budgie came in on drums at some point. And I think, I'm trying to remember exactly how it worked out, but I know Robert Smith helped them finish the tour. I know we're touring with The Cure at the time, but this is going back, way back to what period would that be? So we're talking about pre-Kaleidoscope. Yeah, so sometime between 79 and 80. Yeah, Join Hands, Kaleidoscope. Whenever they were on tour, supporting. Where was it? John McKay and Kenny Morris left the band, and like I say, Robert Smith stepped in on guitar and finished the tour off. So, with that slight side quest out of the way, let us get back to Tinderbox. And on this album we had, John Valentin Carruthers from, what band was he from? He was from Clock DVA, that was right. Yeah. Very interesting guitar sound. Yeah, cool album. Cool album if you never checked it out. The Seer, so this came out in June '86, so that must have been the tour. So again, they were touring like twice in the same year, which I know at that point Big Country were touring a lot. They were out on tour consecutively. So that was June '86. So I saw them on the support for this one, and then, as I said, towards the end of the year, I saw them again. So, they did another tour at the tail end in December, 14th of December, which is pretty cool, Christmas tour. So yeah. Which for them I think was a little bit of a thing actually at the time. I know they used to do a New Year's Eve gig at Barrowlands in Scotland, and I recorded that one year. There's a really cool video online actually of that one. I think it would have been Christmas '85. It was on the TV. I know I saw them in December of '84. So I'm trying to remember, it may have been the Christmas big gig for that tour or the following year possibly, but yeah it may have been '84 actually. And then of course this '86, Slippery and When Wet. You Give Love a Bad Name, Living on a Prayer. And I got into the band, what was it, in '85 actually, this album. Never seen them live. Peace Sells But Who's Buying. Got that when it came out. I can't remember at that point. This is the one I have trouble remembering when I bought it. I can never remember whether I bought this before or after I bought Peace Sells. But I remember them playing Wake Up Dead on the Friday Rock Show. I really like this lineup to the band actually. They're a bit more of a sort of fusion A bit more of a groove to the band, actually. But I think I've said before, I quite enjoy the transitions over from, this album at the time. The production on it was pretty awful, and there's a whole story around that. But I remember buying this, being really impressed, then buying up the following album, which had a completely different guitarist and drummer on it, and really enjoying this one, and then buying Rust in Peace, and of course being blown away by this. So they were the three, they're my three favourite albums by them. I think a friend gave me a copy of this. A friend gave me a copy of this, but I didn't really bother keeping up with the band. It was just these three albums that I bought literally when they came out. And of course this album, Rain in Blood. How long is it? It's some ridiculously short length of time. 28 minutes. Yeah. I could handle about one listen through at the time. It just was so over the top. And then this album, I really loved, obviously, the first two albums, but I really enjoy the Jake E. Lee period albums, Bark at the Moon, Ultimate Sin. Yeah, they're really cool. He had a really interesting guitar sound, and just the way he played. Yeah. So those are my sort of favourites from the year. We'll see if there's ones I've forgotten. It was interesting because I was having to balance this because I wanted to go and see bands live. I'd really got into going to see them in '85 and was loving it. So money that I might normally spend, say, on an album was going on a ticket for a gig. So let's have a look through and just see what we've got. What memories I can remember, things I can remember. So I do remember this. And funny thing, a best friend of mine at the time, who I mentioned before, she later on went out with a session guitarist. It's funny, whenever I see the Bangles, although she didn't look exactly like Susanna Hoffs, she has a passing resemblance, so it just always makes me think of her. Manic Monday. Walk Like an Egyptian. I did buy this album a bit later because several of my friends had it, so I just listened to it in their car when we used to hang out. Album, I didn't know that at the time. Bought that a lot later when I bought all the Black Sabbath catalogue. Around the time when I bought there's a Black Sabbath box set I've got of facsimile albums, CDs, and around the sort of same time I bought that, maybe just before I bought these sort of individual other ones that aren't in the Aussie era box set. There's Ultimate Sin. Oh, this is a good... I'd forgotten about this. I did buy that when it came out. Yeah. That's a really cool album. It's got Nasty on it. What Have You Done For Lately? Control. Oh, yeah. Pleasure Principle. Wow. Oh, that should have made my list as well. I suppose with that one, I haven't listened to it recently like I have the other ones, so yeah. That's got a re-recording of... Where's it gone? Yeah, the Pretty in Pink, which then was put on a later album. Yeah. It's a good film. So when did that film actually come out? That was 86, okay. Final Vinyl, I think I mentioned that before actually. Swan's Greed, third album. Okay, Master of Puppets. Oh, there's Glenn Danzig's band between Danzig and oh god, sorry. Misfits. Yeah, I should know that. Yeah, Misfits, Sam Hain, and then Danzig. Yeah, I hadn't quite fully got in. Like Depeche Mode were all over the charts in the UK, and this is a really cool album. But it really wasn't until Music for the Masses, which was the first album by them, that I bought when it came out, and then I went on this huge retrospective Depeche Mode jag of buying Black Celebration, then not that album, but I had a number of greatest hits, Some Great Reward, and Construction Time Again. That was it. So those albums, and then through into was it Live 101? Yeah, the live one. So yeah, they've had a lot of greatest hits albums. Music for the Masses, yeah, 101. That's a really good live album. There's a really good live documentary as well that goes with that. Came out at the time. Okay. Let's get back to where I was. There we go. Oh, is that the first Voivod? The second album by them. Didn't really get into them until... What was the album after that? Killing Technology, around 87. Yeah. Did have a copy of that. Now, yeah, I think there's only a couple of tracks I really like on this. Yeah. That's a really good track. Dreams. It's got a cool solo on it. Yeah. Pet Shop Boys I'd already mentioned. That was fifth album by Raven. I just wasn't keeping up with a lot of stuff. Candy Apple Grey I didn't buy until a lot later. Turbo, no, not until... I don't think I got a copy of Turbo until I bought... when they did the reissues. And I bought that box with, I think, that came with 3 CDs, and you just kept buying the reissues and I filled it up. So I only got hold of it then. Yeah, I wasn't keeping up with Accept too well. I'd already mentioned Tinderbox. 38 Special still going. What was on this album? Oh, When the Going Gets Tough, the Tough Get Going. I do remember that track. A friend of mine I used to hang out with down the pub, he really liked that track. I think it was on one of the pub's local jukeboxes as well, probably. Animal Boy by their own. So that would have been the tour that I saw them on. That was loud. I've been to some loud gigs, but my ears were ringing for like 2 days after. Yeah, it was just unbelievably loud. Did I have that? Not sure. Yeah, I did mention about this where didn't get around to listening to it until a couple of years later. Whenever I watched Highlander on video. Is that the first Belinda Carlisle album? Yeah. Didn't really get into her until a little bit later, actually. Around the time of Runaway Horses, I think, whenever that single was. Yeah, and didn't really get into them until a bit later. Queen is Dead by the Smiths, that will be their third album. The Seer by Big Country. Now, what did this have on it? Because, like I said, this is when I must have seen them. Yeah. Look Away, The Teacher, One Great Thing, Hold the Heart. Yeah. I'm terrible now at remembering what, even though I might have listened to an album a month or so ago or whatever, I just can never remember some of the tracks on them. I've just listened to too many albums now, I think. Yeah, this was an interesting album. So prior to me seeing The Mission, they were touring as under so The Mission, if you don't know, were Wayne Hussey and I'm trying to remember the name of the bass player from Sister Mercy. Sister Mercy, when they split, Wayne Hussey, what became ultimately The Mission. Prior to them being The Mission, I think they toured under the Sisterhood as a sort of as a name, but Andrew Eldridge wanted the name, and so he released an album under this, so he could I suppose stake a claim on the name, So anyway, yeah, I don't know if that story's right. It's difficult to know because there was so much stuff around this time. But I think it was the case that anyway, it's worth reading. There's a real mess around this. Yeah, it got very messy. Anyway, I'll include the links to this so you can check out what was going on around that time. Gasmatron by Motorhead. I wasn't really keeping up with them very well. Cave in the Bad Seas, I was really into him at that point. Mentioned this album. True as Steel by Warlock, third album. Yeah, I didn't really own much Warlock stuff and wasn't really listening to it. I think I did end up buying the previous album on CD at some point, but years later. Yeah. I have this High Priest of Love EP on vinyl. Crash by the Human League. That's their second one. Yeah, not too familiar with them. I wish I'd listened to more of their stuff actually. Somewhere in Time. Didn't buy that until years later when I sort of basically bought or rebought some of them, but bought all the Iron Maiden albums on CD up to and including Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. And several of the albums I already had on different formats, but just that period just before I think I've mentioned it numerous times, just before the streaming age, during pre-digital official digital downloads, where a lot of people were ripping their collections and then reselling them online. I picked up loads of cheap CDs, and so was sort of buying up very good quality, like second-hand versions of second-hand CDs of things. So Brotherhood by New Order. Yeah. Some of their albums I like more than, like I did listen to this because we've been to see them live, but I listened to Low Life and Substance a lot more. Didn't buy that, although I think I bought the previous couple of albums. I did I buy that when it came out? Yeah, I did, because it was released at the same time as the tour. That's a really good track, Levi Stubbs' Tears. Oh, The Dark by Metal Church. They're already on to their second album by then. Rain in Blood. I'd forgotten this album came out that year. The trouble with this album is I really liked the first two tracks off of it. It wasn't like Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, where I really liked the whole album. This one I used to basically just play the first two tracks in the car, particularly Warriors of the Wasteland. It's got a really cool guitar solo on it. Whiplash Smile, similar thing. There was one track on here I really, really liked. I think it was the last track, and I just kept playing it over and over again. Oh, Beyond the Gates by Possessed, second album by them. Trilogy by Yngwie. So yeah, this I bought after the fact, but I can never remember when I first heard Yngwie's stuff and whether I bought this album in '86 or whether it was a little bit later. I bought the following album by him, Odyssey, when it came out in '88. But yeah, it's a pretty good album. Don't know if it's one of my favourites by him, but track Trilogy. This one is really good. London Zero Hole 4. Even though I saw them live, I don't know if it was a weird thing. Sometimes I would actually go and see a band live and not necessarily buy their album. And I really wanted to check out the House Martins. No, is that right? Yeah. I really wanted to, because I was trying to remember, because I think the Proclaimers supported them. And I really wanted to check them out. But with them, when did I see? I say, yeah, the House Martins. Oh, that's right. Yeah, '86. Yep, 86. So yeah, I remember going to see that with a friend from work, and we just hung out. Yeah, it was at the Top Rank in Brighton. And it had this really cool top level where you could look down from above on the bands playing below, and there was a bar up there, and we sat in the bar having a drink. It was a pretty cool gig actually, and just hanging out and listening to the band and watching them. Yeah. Your Funeral, My Trial. They Might Be Giants. Okay. Oh yeah, I remember this coming out. Completely forgotten about that. I did play it quite a bit for a while actually. It's not one of my favourite Killing Joke albums, but I don't dislike it. It's quite a different, quite a different style to it. Oh, Through the Barricades by Spandau Ballet. Another one where there was one track on here I really liked. Oh, probably this one. Oh, Darkness Descends by Dark Angel. I wasn't aware of this until years later. I do have a copy on CD though. Saint of the Pit by Diamanda Gallus. Didn't get to listen to her until Malediction and Prayer, I think it's called. And then I've also listened to is it? Oh, I can't remember the other one. Yeah, there's one with her on on the cover, which looks like she's covered in blood, but I can't remember the name of the album now. I didn't own that. This is a really good band. What was on this then? Yeah. That's probably the track I know best by them. But I didn't listen to them until years later. I should check them out properly. Oh, I Against I by Brad Bain's third album by them. And we had Live Magic. Oh, I bought this. Yeah, that came out, didn't it? Now, what? Did I see the Damn in 80? I must have seen them in the previous year in 85, I reckon. When they were supporting the previous album. So we'll talk about them in 85. Yeah, that was the previous year, but 86 this came out. It's got an interesting cover of Alone Again Or on it. But I definitely preferred the previous album. Electric Cafe by Kraftwerk came out. And live album by Venom. Oh, this album as well. Now, what a lot of people don't realise is debut album. Yeah. Wayne Hussey played guitar on From the Mission. Well, and Sister Mercy. So, yeah. So, Dead or Alive, Sister Mercy, The Mission. In that order, I believe. Unknowns. Oh, this one, yeah. So this was the debut album by Joe Satriani. I did buy it after the fact. Red Lorry, Yellow Lorry. Now, that's where Mick Brown, who ended up in the Mission, drummer for the Mission, came from them. Yeah. Crimson Glory. I had that album. That's a really good album. But I didn't buy that until 87. So yeah. No, that is really good actually already. Yeah, so I didn't buy that till the following year. Does that have Behind the Wall of Sleep on it? Yeah, that's a really good track. Yeah, there's quite a few here where I sort of recognise certain tracks because in 86 I was watching The Tube a lot, the TV show, I think that was on still, and so a lot of stuff was getting played on there. Okay, plus I think there was something on Channel 4 called The Chart Show as well, which was a sort of rival for Top of the Pops, but I think they only played like music videos. And I used to watch that quite a bit. Okay, here we go. See if there's anything here. Like I said, I'd sort of switched a little. So I was, listening to a broader set of songs, bands. I was going to gigs, so I suspect that if there'd anything else I'd bought that year, I would have mentioned originally. And anything here now I would have bought after the fact. So yeah, things like Eternal Devastation I bought years later. Oh, I remember this. Fifth Angel. Oh, Cat, yeah. Oh no, it's a different one. So I'm getting muddled up now. Different Cat. I'm thinking of the female shredder. That was the Great Cat, wasn't it? Yeah. Lizzie Borden, did that have Rod of Iron on it? Yeah, I'm not sure. That's the track I recognise most. And that cover they did of Born to be Wild. I found out about them through Decline of Western Civilization, the Metal Years, I think. Wasted, which had Pete Way in it. They were a cool band, and one I never got round to listening to, actually. But apart from what I saw on, I think they were on a series on TV called ECT, which was on after the Tubes had its run, so I think more maybe 87, 88 possibly, could have been even later. And it was pretty much exclusively hard rock and metal bands. I'd forgotten about this. This is a pretty good album, actually, I think. But I think one of my brothers had a copy of that. I do have this, but yeah, no, I didn't buy it till years later when I sort of went down a bit of a doom rabbit hole for a while. Street Lethal by Racer X. Racer X, that's Paul Gilbert was in the band. I've seen him live, actually, really good. Yeah, both him and... Hang on, no. What am I saying? Sorry. I'll take that back. I've seen Joe Satriani live. I've seen Steve Vai. Yeah, no, sorry, I haven't seen Paul Gilbert. Paul Gilbert's the one I haven't seen live. Yeah, but yeah, Joe Satriani's played Halifax, and I think Steve Vai's played here now, maybe twice. Yeah, both, I mean, excellent gigs. Steve Vai one was really cool. Okay, in new release, Box Office US, Top Gun, Crocodile Dundee, Platoon. Yeah, all of these I've probably seen on video, actually, after the fact. I did see that at the cinema. I always tried to make a point of seeing all the Star Trek films, because I'd seen like the original one at the cinema when I was a kid. And so I used to try and watch all of them, go to see all of them at the cinema. Aliens I didn't see at the cinema, I saw that on video. Yeah, everything else, yeah. So I don't remember. Certainly don't remember seeing that at the cinema. Yeah. Let's look at the sort of week by week if there's anything. Yeah, that I watched on video later. So they probably came out, what, a year or two after the film. I can't remember how quickly rentals were coming out in line with the releases at that point in time. Definitely not as fast as they do nowadays. Legends. Remember that. Short Circuit, Top Gun, Cobra, Karate Kid, Aliens, The Fly. That was a remake. Saw that on video. And The Fly 2. Yeah. So I think, yeah, apart from this, I don't think I saw anything at the cinema that year, which would surprise me. Yeah, I'm just trying to think, 'cause did I see that? Did a friend of mine that I occasionally went to gigs with, who also I'd go to the cinema with, and I can't remember if we went to see any films that year. What year did... When did that come out? No, not until 88. No, that was a different... Yeah, that was a... What was it? Oh. UK. Yeah, different friend. Oh God, I'm just trying to remember which... Oh. Yeah, it's gone now. Yeah, I'm sure it'll come back to me after I've done the video. Anyway, so there we have it. Very interesting year. Year 86 I thoroughly enjoyed. Lots of cool albums there. Don't know how much of it I need to re-listen to. Maybe I'll go back through the 86 list and just see if there's anything that I missed. I really wouldn't mind listening to this again, actually. Maybe that Janet Jackson album. So I completely forgot about that. And you see, I haven't really listened to much Screaming Trees. There's quite a few here. Like American bands as well that I should really check out. Like I needed to properly listen to this, like Cocteau Twins, Victoria Land. And as I mentioned, was it This Mortal Coil as well as another one I wouldn't mind listening to. I wouldn't mind giving this album a listen to. I've never really listened to all the way through. Oh, this, look what the cat, I forgot about that. Yeah. My middle brother had a copy of that. Oh yeah, I completely forgot that came out. Yeah, there's quite a few I missed here. Raising Hell by Run DMC, third album. Yeah, must have scrolled through without looking properly. Yeah, Erasure were on what? Their debut, Bronski Beat, second album. Oh. Revenge as well. Huh. Third album. Anyway, better not do a second pass through, but yeah, there's tons here that I probably missed out on. So, oh yeah, that one. See, there's another one. Yeah. Wow, what happened here? Did I just flick over this really quickly? I must have got distracted by the Motown, probably. That's my excuse. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty, because that's got, isn't Steve Vai on this album? Yeah. And Billy Sheehan, and, wow. Yeah. God, dear me. So many good albums that year. So thanks once again for watching. Bye for now. And I will catch you in a future video.